Seven's Accel Road is a deck that has been completely tearing up the tournament scene, and it is largely due to one player, Sora. As you can see, we have their list over on the right. Of course, we run 3 7s with a Magician and a Magician's Valkyria as the Legend. As a 1600 attack point level 4 monster, it is compatible with the skill, and will be boosted to 2400, allowing you to get the search on turn 4 or later. Torna provides piercing, and Witch is a crucial combo piece to bring out the Magician for one fewer card. Then, we have Light Sorcerer of Sanctity and Summer Zone Mage that serve as debuffers. Light Sorcerer of Sanctity does get more power for every other light spellcaster you have on the field. So we also run 3 Light Sorcerers, the normal monster. Then we fill things out with a copy of Fire Golem for the Fire attribute, 3 Mystic Dealer to dig through the deck, and Strange Cat as the Earth attribute. The cat has 0 attack, which makes it perfect to absorb a heavy metal in the ever-popular Hell Tuning Invasion matchup. Shield and Sword is the legend card of choice, as it is able to switch all of those 0 defense point boss monsters down to 0. Ghost Cyclone is being run, though they have also experimented with Magical Stream. Personally, I do like the Ghost Cyclone more here, as being able to draw a card is always good. Talismanic Seal Array can help you push for lethal, and provides an additional out to maximum monsters. Widespread Ruin is Widespread Ruin, and the Guard is a way to stop Royal Rebels from getting in directly after they blow up the board with Invasion. Our list is fairly similar. So, we only own 1 copy of Light Sorcerer of Sanctity, but that is fine. But we do make a few other changes. For one, Royal Rebels are not coming on the ladder. If you're going to a tournament, Strange Cat makes sense. But for ladder play, I do like Doriado. And if we're running Doriado, Speedy Performer becomes very valuable, as Doriado, Fire Golem, and Light Sorcerer all have 1200 attack. If you boost it by 400 with Speedy Performer, they become 1600 attack point monsters, and are thus targets for 7's Accel Road if you don't draw into any of your tribute monsters. Other than that, the deck is pretty similar, except I've decided to go all in on the offense, and don't run any spell trap removal at all. And first up, we have Sora themselves. We happen to find them randomly on the ladder, and they are playing Maximum Ragnarok. They go first and bring out a lone boss monster, but with only 2300 attack, we are going to be able to blow right through it. We summon out Mystic Dealer, and with 3 tribute monsters in hand, we just had to get rid of one of the Tornas. Magician's Valkyria is a great monster, and Light Sorcerer is also a pretty solid beater. Torna the Windweaver comes down, and we go ahead and discard the 7's Road Witch in order to switch their monster to defense mode. Just in case they have Widespread Ruin, we are now guaranteed to clear through the board. We swing in for the 2400 and pass it over. Monster Reincarnation is activated, and that can only mean one thing. A Drago is coming down. They maximum summon, use Maximum Ragnarok to debuff our monster, destroy something with the effect, and then swing in over Magician's Valkyria. We only get 1 turn to out this monster. We draw, and we get everything we need. Light Sorcerer of Sanctity is backed up by 2 additional light spellcasters, providing a 900 debuff. 7's Road Witch enters the field, and this lets us search out 7's Road Magician, who we hard summon. Then, for the final card in our hand, we have the 7's Road Mage, who is able to debuff the Yggdrago by 100 points for every spellcaster in the graveyard. After boosting up the 7's Road Magician, we swing in for game. Between Sora's list and my own, I think we've covered most of the relevant cards for the deck. Any deck running Speedy Performer could also include a Piercing Samurai or 2, but we already have so many dark monsters since the Magician and Witch are already that, and we want to have as many different attributes as possible to fuel our 7's Road Magician. Additionally, you can consider running a second copy of Talismanic Seal Array, as there's always a chance you draw into all of your 7's Road Magician too early in the game, and you don't have any fodder for late game, especially if you are bricking and filter one away with a Mystic Dealer. Obviously, spell trap removal, like Sora is running, is a totally fine option as well. If you've paid money for the structure decks, a third Torna the Windweaver could be used, but we are already on 8 tribute monsters, so the space is a little bit tight, and you really aren't going to cut out a 7's Road Magician for it. When the deck first was revealed in Duel Links, I thought that being able to search out 7-Zone Magician meant that you wouldn't need 3. But you absolutely do want 3. Speaking of ways to shuffle away the 7-Zone Magician, Talismanic Seal Array is not your only option. Recovery Force can also let you draw a card while filtering your graveyard back into the deck. But for just one more monster, I think the effect of debuffing the opponent's bosses is going to come up way more. Finally, you could decide to run something like Road Magic Tempest, but you would also have to commit to cards like Spell Archer. I would think this is a viable alternative if you don't own any copies of Torn of the Windweaver, as I know one copy is in a structure deck, but the others are paywalled at this point. You only have 2 if you've been around since the start. So consider a copy of Tempest with some other wind monsters, or maybe even the Beast Engine, which gives you access to the Tiger, which is also a wind. Other than that, I think the deck is solid. For our second game, we are up against Rebels. They open up with a set 3 pass, and then we draw into a Magician's Valkyria. And I decide I want to keep the 7-Nodes Witch and Magician in hand. Given that they are a set 3 board, these cards are not going to do anything for us, and they're very likely to get blown away by an invasion on the next turn. So instead, we use Shining Shaman to let our Valkyria attack directly, getting in for a huge early game swing. After all, it's not a huge deal that our monsters are going to get destroyed, and keeping our bosses for later is much better. As expected, we see a Hell-Tuning Invasion coming down, but actually it turns out they don't have any boss monster, so they just filter down their hand to what they can. We use Light Sorcerer Sanctity to get a 900-point debuff before bringing in the 7th Road Magician. 7th Road Witch is up next. 7th Accel Road provides a boost and gives us a second copy of 7th Road Magician. 7th Sorcery, and now we have 2 7th Road Magicians on board. The idea is if we mill enough different attributes, we are going to get them down to near lethal damage. Unfortunately, they're only 3,000 attack, but this is still fine. With only 700 life points remaining, we are in a great spot. Also note that they wasted a card slot on Royal Rebels Arena. This only works against Widespread Ruin, and we are not going to use it at all this game. They don't draw into a tribute monster again, and they realize with so few life points left, and that I haven't even played a Torna yet, the game could end at any time, and they decide to just go ahead and surrender.